Hello and welcome to another Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and it is a sad day for the New York Yankees. The Yankees are unable to have back-to-back comebacks, and they lose 5-2 today to lose the division series to the Toronto Blue Jays. And wow, it's been such a long season. And to end it like that, not just this game, but this series in general, was just so disappointing. This team is much better than last year, regardless of last year's team making it to the World Series. Last year's team had a much easier road to the World Series than this year's team did. But it still sucks to just watch them go out in the DS, as this is a team that could have won a World Series if everything went right. And unfortunately, as the same as the past 16 years, not everything went right. The Yankees today were playing bad. They just played bad baseball. On the offensive side, Cam Schlittler was just a good, again, not his wild card series start, but more than good enough to get the Yankees a W. And the Yankees offense just couldn't prevail against the Blue Jays bullpen day, which is really, really tough. To start with the positive, at least, Aaron Judge, phenomenal postseason. Insane. He broke his postseason hits record, and we didn't even get past the DS. We didn't even get to a Game 5 in the DS. Aaron Judge finally has a really, really good postseason. Hopefully, for postseasons to come, that means he got the monkey off his back, and he can continue to perform in postseasons to come, as I'm sure there will be more. But it just sucks to see him finally step up, and everybody else, besides maybe Giancarlo Stanton and Ryan McMahon, show up offensively. Even though Stanton struggled to start, but the past couple of days he's been good. What I will say about tonight's game. First, Anthony Volpe, you're so bad at hitting baseballs. It's insane. I'm not ignorant to the fact that this is MLB baseball, and it's not as easy as it looks on TV. But I would put everything I've ever owned on I wouldn't have struck out that many times. Some of the strikeouts were just awful. Looking at pitches down the middle, swinging a ball in the dirt. I saw him check swing strike out like 6 times this series. After a pretty good wild card series too. Wow, what a brutal division. I mean, probably one of the worst we've ever seen from a shortstop and just a player overall. Wow. His last 19 at-bats of his season, he struck out 14 times. That's awful. And he played in every game. And the smartest move Boone made all series was getting to me as an at-bat. And of course, look at that, he doubles. He pinch hits for Volpe in the top of the 9th. Giving the Yankees a little bit of hope. But wow, Volpe was terrible. Trent Grisham, coming off a career year, was completely awful this postseason. Awful. His at-bats were terrible, and today's especially, popped out, fouled twice. They were just so bad. Jazz yesterday hits a home run, today just forgets how to hit. His at-bats were terrible. He has the one walk. Wells, he did hit the ball hard a couple times, just right at people. Man, it's just, Stanton, 2 walks in the single. Boys trying, to keep this series going. Cody Bellinger, started the postseason off hot, but just an 0-for-5 day, and, eventually getting the last strikeout to end our season. And I don't want to be all gloomy, because, it was a good season, maybe outside of the summer, but outside of the summer and the postseason, it was a great season, a fun team to watch.
The Yankees went through a lot this year. Losing your ace before the season starts
Midway through the season, losing one of your main guys in the bullpen, Schmidt to Tommy John. But there was a beautiful side to it, as Schmidt goes down with Tommy John, and we get the emergence of Cam Schlittler. I know he wasn't perfect every single start. He had a couple bad ones in there, but you can definitely see the potential. I think he needs to develop his cutter more into an actual slider. He needs a slider. But, that's for a different video. We won't even get into that yet. Tough, man. I think the Yankees did have a very, very good trade deadline this year. Picking up guys like Caballero, Bednar, Duvall, even Bird. Just guys with service time, We're going to get years out of these guys. So it was a good trade. Good trades for the Yankees. And of course, sorry about that. And of course, the big one, Ryan McMahon, who, although maybe when we traded for him wasn't the best offensively, showed up this postseason. I think he was hitting in the 300s. Played phenomenal defense. It's just really hard to articulate even what to really say. I didn't even take notes for this. I'm just going at it, just the way I feel, based off the season we just watched and just the way it ended. It's tough going into the series. You look at it as you have the major pitching advantage, and although the Blue Jays probably had the offensive advantage with bat-to-ball skills, we had scored more runs, and we had scored more runs off good teams than the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays just had the Yankees numbered, not just this postseason, but all year, man. They really beat up the Yankees in Rogers Center and won the games. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to kick the camera. And won the games they needed to win in Yankee Stadium. And I know a lot of people are going to blame Aaron Boone. And I get the point to some degree with how the regular season went. I think there was multiple times in the season Boone or maybe the coaching staff made decisions that directly affected us in the later season. As you know, we eventually end up tying with the Blue Jays for the number one for the AL East, number one spot in the American League, and unfortunately, since we weren't able to win the season series against the Blue Jays, we get the wild card spot. I think us going in to the DS with that one spot would have put us in a lot better spot, especially with home field advantage to start. I don't think we'd be having this conversation right now if the Yankees were able to pull out the division. But you never know, because that Blue Jays team got hot at the perfect time. And just, like I said, they just simply outplayed the Yankees. They had their own version of Cam Schlittler emergence with Savage. I always say his name wrong. He was amazing against the Yankees. The Yankees can't hit splitters. And the Yankees need to change their hitting philosophy. As we saw this year, the emergence of Cody Bellinger, and maybe not going for a home run every swing, but just getting bat on ball, maybe with 2 strikes, or in just certain situations, it needed to happen. We lose 5-2, but there were so many opportunities to just get 1 run, maybe 2 runs throughout the last 4 innings of this game, that if we just had guys that just put the bat on the ball, and it's just so tough. John Smoltz said it perfectly today. The Yankees are looking for that one big rally to put you away, to put you to sleep. The Blue Jays just keep punching and jabbing over and over again till they tire you out. And that's exactly what they did to the Yankees all series, even yesterday's game. Another completely terrible pitching performance by Rodon. Rodon's first start was decent, but just a bad pitching performance by Rodon. The bullpen actually shows up yesterday and allows the offense to get back in. Today I'm going to put more of the blame on the offense than the bullpen. Jazz's error, that should have been a double play, puts us in a completely different position, but the Yankees should have scored way more runs in today's game. And it's hard because Judge's postseason was so good, And again, there's a part that scares me where it's like, is it going to be another version of Don Mattingly? Where I know Judge is way better than Don Mattingly, but are we going to see one of our captain, one of our greatest players to ever put a Yankees uniform on, never win a ring? Because when he did show up, nobody else could, you know. And it's tough. And, you know, maybe we're sitting here last year saying, like, oh, well, if Judge had the postseason like last year that he did this year, the Yankees won the World Series, which could be true. Probably not, but it could be true. It's just tough. The Yankees are in a good spot for next season, I will say that. With Cole coming back early season, you know, with the emergence of Schlittler, we have a good pitching rotation. Fried was phenomenal this year. I know he has the horrible start against the Blue Jays in Game 2. Awful, but Fried was good this year. Rodon was good this year. Warren, although the ERA was a little bit elevated, he was still pretty good this year. And we're going to get a full season of Cam Schlittler. And it's interesting to see what the Yankees are going to do, as I'm going to have an actual full video offseason breakdown. But, like, do we see Spencer Jones finally come up? Do we see Dominguez get actual full playing time? Does he improve his defense in the offseason? But the biggest thing I'm going to pay attention to this offseason for the Yankees is how they handle the Anthony Volpe situation. Because you cannot deny that this season was atrocious, was bad. The defense was bad up until the last month of the season. The bat was awful. And yes, maybe the torn labrum has something to do with it. But he needs to get that repaired. And next season, it needs to be his last chance. Because next season will be his fourth year. Fourth season in the big leagues. And, you know, I know he's still young. What is he going to be, 23 maybe? No, he's going to be 25, something like that, something in that range. Don't get me wrong, he's still young. But if he has a season like he's had this year, like, what... I get let the kid develop, but at some point, you're losing prime Judge years. You need a guy who's going to play shortstop, and he's going to play it well. And Volpe did not do that this year. He showed that in this series as well. Your shortstop is one of your premier positions on this team, on any team around baseball. Every person who pays attention to baseball, who's played baseball, who's in baseball knows this. So to consistently have somebody that were promises figured it out, or maybe, you know, oh, he finally figured it out, he got into that hot streak, he's going to be good now, and just watch him fail over and over and over again, and then watch this team back him up over and over again. At some point, you got to cut ties with it and move on. Whether that be training him and going out and getting an interim until you're going to try again with George Lombard Jr., or you go out and get a shortstop. But it's time to give Volpe his final chance to prove himself, because I'm not gonna wait and watch this guy struggle for another 2 years before he goes into free agency, or technically it'd be 3 years until he goes into free agency, as I watch Judge's prime years just whittle away as he gets older. I can't. It's got to change. Something's got to change. The hitting philosophy needs to change. You know, I'm cool with Judge and Stanton going up there trying to hit home runs. You know, Rice is a guy who should try to hit a home run because they got that power. But, you know, I don't want to see Volpe going up to the plate trying to hit a home run every time. And although Jazz can hit home runs, Jazz has got to chill out with just trying to get the big swing every time. You're fast. Put the ball in play. You know? Just try to hit for average for a little bit. The home runs are going to come. You play in Yankee Stadium. It's going to happen. It's going to happen naturally. Just put good swings on the ball. It's so hard to watch. And, like, Trent just ended up becoming home run or bust. Oh, my God. I need more guys like Cody Bellinger. I know Cody Bellinger's last couple of games did not play well. But just, you know, you go for it. You know, maybe the first pitch or two. Or depending on the situation. But then you just try to just fight the pitcher and put the ball in play. I mean, there's so many times this series we watch, like, why these guys are going so deep, their starters are going so deep into the game, the Blue Jays starters, when it's like, dude, if we just choked up on the bat a little bit and just kept fouling pitches off, he's gonna lose it at some point. He's gonna make a mistake, and the Yankees didn't do that. And the mistakes they made, they just completely missed. So yeah, this season's over, obviously. You know, as the rest of you, I'm sure, I'm upset. It sucks. It's disappointing, but it's sad to say it's almost expected. It seems like every single year, whether it be towards the end of the regular season, the middle of the season, the postseason, the Yankees figure out to have some catastrophic failure. Like, man, you know, from missing the postseason to the World Series. All right, we made it to the World Series. It's our chance to just falling apart in the World Series. To the year before that, you know, just not having a good team, making the postseason because Aaron Judge had one of the best seasons in MLB history, to just getting destroyed and swept by the Astros. To this year, to where, all right, we figured it out, having such a long stretch of bad baseball, still making it into the postseason, almost winning the division, beating the Red Sox in the wild card series, and then again, just a complete fall apart in games that matter. And it's almost becoming a routine for the Yankees at this point. And I ask myself the question sometimes, wouldn't you rather be in a situation like the Red Sox, where it's like, all right, maybe you're not going to make the postseason every year, you're going to come in last a couple times, but since 2004, they've won 4 World Series. I'd rather have the World Series wins, truthfully, than to every year go to the postseason, never win the World Series, and always be disappointed at the end, because at the end of the day, Yankees baseball is about winning the World Series. But sorry, I didn't mean to move the camera again, but that's what it is. This season's over. My channel has grown significantly the past month. So, I was originally going to take a break, you know, give it a week, but I want to stay consistent, as people start to view my videos more, people are starting to subscribe a lot more. So, I want to stay consistent. I'm going to do a full breakdown of the Yankees, off-season, what needs to be done, what needs to be addressed, guys that are coming off the books, guys we should try to keep, guys we shouldn't worry about trying to keep, and then maybe some guys in free agency we should look at to pick up. Or I'm not going to get into free agency yet, just areas the Yankees need to work on. And then I'm going to do like an overview of each Yankee, every guy that played significant time on the Yankees this year. How their season went, and basically what we should expect from them next year, what role they'll be in, whether they'll be on the Yankees or not, whether we're talking about re-signing them or letting them go, whatever it is. So that'll be about 30 videos, so that should get us most of the way through the off season. Plus, I'm gonna still do, like, if the Yankees sign somebody or trade for somebody, I'll do videos about that. I'll do update videos on that stuff. I'll do a rumors video, and I'm gonna do expectations for the 2026 season for each player as well. But that is when everything is all said and done. So it should be about 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe occasionally a video on the weekend if we get some crazy news. But that's the plan so far as the channel continues to grow. As always, thank you everybody who watches on YouTube side or listens on the podcast side. Every last one of you is appreciated. As I've said before, we do shorts every single day, so there's an update every single day, whether that's on TikTok, Instagram, I do YouTube as well, or Facebook. They're all on there. It's all Vinny Talks Yanks, and then Instagram is Vinny.TalksYanks. And that's what we got. 2025 season is over. So we now move into the off season for the Yankees. So that's where I'm going to end it today. Like I said, thank you for everybody watching, listening, whatever it is. Hope all of you guys have a good morning, night, day, whatever time it is for you, however you're watching this. And as always, for the last time of the 2025 season, go Yankees.